What's up, you guys? It's your boy Blair.
And I'm Sadé.
And you guys, we are over the BS. Welcome to our podcast. Today is a special show because we are celebrating Pride Month. It's June, and this episode is called Over the Rainbow. And we have two special guests. And you guys, I'm so excited. Hey, guys.
I was like, I'm ready to be excited. This is like a really positive episode. It's over the rainbow. The rest were like over mental, the stigma of mental health and like
they're all serious
over police brutality. And we're like, yay, over the rainbow. So I'm really excited about this one.
Yes. So first of all, we have to kick off some fun because it's Pride Month. So first of all, what have you guys done for Pride? I know, everything quarantine, but tell me maybe some things that you have planned or some things that you've already done for Pride. Donovan, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. So I haven't had the time to actually sit down and figure out, just because I haven't gotten used to the fact that I can't go out and celebrate like I wanted to. So I'm still trying to come to terms with that. I think I'm gonna spend this Pride Month just doing my research, doing my homework, where's my history from? Because it's been long over, don't teach us this in schools. So I mean, I have to seek the information out, and I feel now is the time, especially with all of this movement that's going on, all these protests and everything. I feel now is the time to really buckle down and focus on what can I educate myself on that I should have been taught growing up but wasn't implemented into the education system that I missed out on. So I think that's what I'm gonna do for the most part. Kind of play it by ear. New Lady Gaga dropped. I really want to go to the club, but I'm trying to keep it together and not. So
I know,
we're gonna ride it out
rough.
see where it goes. I know.
It's so good.
I was actually just listening to it before this.
Good for the self-quarantining.
Yeah. How about you, Danube? What have you been doing to kind of celebrate Pride Month in your own way?
Well, I guess the same thing, kind of self-educating more, because I didn't have anyone queer in my family or in my friend circle growing up at all. So it's definitely been a huge discovery on my own, history behind everything, the Stonewall riots, etc. But I guess kind of trying to be a better activist for the LGBTQ community and a better ally for the community. So I think that's what I've been doing, and having conversations with family members, because my family is really homophobic. So I think I'm turning some perspectives and creating a lot of tolerance and acceptance in my family here in the U.S. and in Mexico. So
I love that.
Great,
How about you, Mike?
Good.
I am doing the same as everyone else, constantly having to educate myself, because, we learn about our, community so much throughout the years. And it's every year you learn something new. Every year you find out about some other sort of injustice that's going on, right? So it's constantly just being on top of it, knowing what's going on and figuring out ways that we can actually help, our, LGBTQ community. But since, we can't really go out and have fun, I too have been having my own Chromatica ball in my apartment every single day. The full Chromatica tour shower routines are just fully in full effect right now. And did you guys hear, apparently LA Pride, we were supposed to have Pussycat Dolls headline, and that has been taken away from us.
You know
so,
what?
Oh, no. A
what
little
they
annoyed.
did to Melody, we don't deserve them.
Oh my God. Nicole and her background singers deserve it all.
Oh my gosh, those girls are mine though. Melody's the only one who did the ad-libs.
Period.
Who did the ad-libs?
And better than Nicole, period, okay?
Oh. Now leave
Don't
Nicole.
Don't come for my girl like that.
Okay.
Don't leave my girl.
Leave Nicole Virgin Burger alone. Dean, how about you?
Like everybody else, I haven't been able to experience or really do anything for Pride. But listen, I've been definitely an ally for my Black trans sisters every moment that I get. I preach it to my family every second that I get. I'm just being unapologetically Black and gay. I just don't have no time for the shits, honestly. You know what I'm saying? The clock is ticking. The girls are anxious. So I'm just out here, just pressing people every second I get. I really don't care to how I make people uncomfortable. If you're uncomfortable, girl, pay it, because it's not going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. We're not going anywhere. And it's not just about us, gay men. It's not just about us, man, period. Okay, so we need to get that out of our heads. This whole community was started by a different type of girl. And that's why we get to be where we are. So every moment that I get, I preach about Black trans rights and making sure that we protect those girls and those guys.
I love that. When you said I'm not going nowhere, I started laughing because it reminded me of that Nicki Minaj video. She's like, bitch, I ain't going nowhere. Sorry. Bitch, I ain't going nowhere. All right, so people are bringing up their Chromatica and Lady Gaga. So I just want to know who has been like your ultimate like gay diva, like who's been your gay idol during this crazy time?
Ooh. Okay, so
who's your quarantine queen?
Pretty much.
Yes.
Hey, I like that.
Yes. Come on, quarantine queen.
Come on, Bobby.
You gotta coin that. Quarantine queen. That's if you want to see that shirt, you're gonna gag.
All right. Actually, have one.
Wait, are we waiting for Dean to answer? Or...
Oh, I said Mike. I'm sorry.
I was going to answer, but then he was like quarantine queen, and now I'm like thinking about all the gear that we should get that says quarantine queen.
Right, Mike, who's your quarantine diva right now?
Who's my quarantine queen? I think I've been going back and forth. For the beginning of quarantine, it was definitely Dua Lipa. Totally sucks that she dropped Future Nostalgia in the peak of COVID madness.
Yeah.
And she really had me until, Chromatica came out, and then it was like that album never happened. Like Chromatica, it's Lady Gaga right now. I mean, I'm listening to Paper Gangster, I'm listening to Bad Romance. It's like 2008 all over again.
But I think if you had to compare Future Nostalgia just straight up to Chromatica, I would go Future Nostalgia. But
totally.
If you're going full discography, obviously Lady Gaga.
Totally.
Totally.
I think,
look at Sadé finding her gay way.
Coming through. Yeah. I think Future is definitely the stronger record and the one that is going to give us more hits. Gaga's is a bit more niche, but I'm from Jersey, so those club beats just get me every time.
Donovan, how about you? Because I already know you're going off on Tinashe. I don't even gotta
Oh my God. You know I gotta promote my girl every chance I get.
All hands on
I've been bumping songs for you like nonstop. It's between that and I would say Chromatica. Those are like my two. They're just like feel good albums. Like I've been trying to learn like every track from Chromatica like front to back. I'm like 75% of the way there. Like I said, when the clubs are like open fully and I can go out and do my thing, I want to do my thing to each lyric that I know. So I'm just keeping that in the back of my mind. I know they're gonna bump Tinashe too, so I'll definitely say those two just because like that's what I grew up on, like my youth. For the main part, it was Lady Gaga, Born This Way. That was like a huge like milestone for me when that album came out. It just like pushed me to really discover myself. So, I got a Chromatica, I feel like was a nod to her old era. So that's what I've kind of been sticking to.
I love that. Speaking of Tinashe, me and Sadé ran into her a couple days ago.
Oh my God.
I know.
Love.
Oh my Lord. My heart will
Babe,
fall
who you
out.
been rocking with?
A very LA experience, obviously.
Very.
Well, Lady Gaga. I love me some Kehlani. Jessie Reyes.
Yeah.
And I love Dua Lipa as well, but yeah.
Love that. Dean?
That's all the girls.
I really
okay, Frank Ocean. There we go.
Oh, okay.
I'm really listening to like a little like grassroots, like underground artist. And she goes by the name of Whitney Houston. And she's a small girl. I love her music. You wouldn't believe it. Reigning Queen of Pop to my newest favorite reigning Queen of Pop, who's been doing it for a little while, Miss Ariana DeGrande.
Oh yeah.
She always gives it to us every time. Everyone's trying to forget about her, but she continues to have that 6-inch platform, high heel, patent leather, white boots on the throat of pop music. So there we go.
At all times.
I love Mini Mariah. I love me some Mini Mariah. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
I know. You always talk about Mariah. You stay.
Sadé, who's your Sadé? Who you?
Compared to Mariah, does she? I feel like there's been so much drama there, but I love me some Ari for sure.
Oh yeah, I love Ariana. But
I love her.
Oh,
Love
Mariah
her.
is, you guys, as many of you guys know, Mariah is my queen. I
Oh,
love me Mariah.
absolutely.
I know.
Sade, who's been your girl or guy?
I feel like it is Lady Gaga for sure, because I feel like she was, I mean, I'm like an ally, but I feel like when she first came out, I saw her more as like an ally to the community before she like, you know, talked more about her experiences. And she just had music that like everybody enjoyed and everybody would come together and dance to, like Just Dance. I remember I was even Lady Gaga for Halloween, and that was my first time I went to WeHo, and like there's so many different Lady Gagas, and we were all just like hanging out together. And you know, I think her music is just so joyous, and she's always been such like an honest artist. And I'm still mad at that she never had that Fame Kills tour, but
Same.
right? The
It
one with Kanye
hurts.
West still hurts.
With Kanye in the art, where she's like dead in his arms, like
Yes!
that was lit.
I'm still sad about that.
Such a bummer.
I'm still sad I missed her, you know, getting thrown up on at South by Southwest. Yes.
Oh, man.
See, I was really into
Yeah.
her really weird experimental
Ooh.
phase, like dressing up as meat, all of that. I missed that. But I feel like Chromatica is the
Yes.
closest we're getting back to like the way she sounded at that time. So
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
I'm Gaga all the way. I'm a little monster.
All the way. Hello.
Showing up to award shows dressed as a slab of meat. That's me.
Yes.
Just like a weird time, but like, you know, it was her. I loved it.
So iconic. Yeah, she's definitely an
Yeah.
icon. Now, do you guys have any shows that you're watching that really stuck out to you, you know, during your time, either growing up or even right now, that have been like singing to you, that you identify with? I mean,
like LGBT.
we're in yeah. I'm like, we're in quarantine, so I mean, I'm assuming you're watching some TV. There's nothing else to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I just started binge watching the
what?
The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Oh my god.
From season 1?
From season 1.
Oh, you're in for a ride, my friend.
Oh wait,
my God.
You're such a fucking liar, Camille.
First of all, I just hate that I may be a Brandy at sometimes. That girl is so, oh my God. First of all, that whole franchise, I had no idea that it was that good. But anyway, that's my trash TV. That's the trash TV. But as far as like the good stuff, I mean, oh my God, I watch so much TV that I can't even really narrow it down to really anything. But if we wanted to talk about queer things, I've been getting back into Noah's Ark. I've watched this Netflix, I'm sure you all watched it, that gay a spy movie that's on Netflix. It's pretty good actually. Where they like try to kill him and he's like a spy in London.
Nope, haven't.
I forget what it's called, but
Wait, what?
The gay James Bond movie? Nope, haven't seen it.
We need to try it.
Wait.
It sounds very interesting.
I know.
yeah, it's pretty good.
A gay spy. It's a show or a movie?
Yeah, it's a show. It's on Netflix. It's really good. If I remember it, I'll send it to you guys or whatever. But that was really good. Schitt's Creek is really good. I need a good laugh.
Yeah.
Every now and again. How to Get Away with Murder. I've been binge watching How to Get Away with Murder. Yeah, I can't even think, y'all. I watch so much TV. I'm just like a fucking boy.
How about you, Donovan?
I had to say for me probably Pose. I know season 2 like just dropped. I'm like 3 episodes deep. I've cried on like the first 15 minutes. So it's between that, obviously Schitt's Creek. I gotta get my David on. Just like the Netflix originals and like movies too, like the releases that are supposed to come out in theaters and haven't. I've been trying to catch up on those. I know there's a new horror movie on like Apple TV that I should check out. But yeah, like I haven't had much time, like because I used to focus so much on television in pre-quarantine, like let me put that aside and kind of find some time for myself. So I've been like picking up like plants and like starting to work out a lot more. So I've been, more focused on that, but I do have my guilty pleasures at the same time.
Yes, come on, health.
Yeah. Hello, gotta get healthy. Summer's
through,
here, I gotta enjoy it as much as I can.
Sip tea.
Hello.
Mine has been opposite. I've actually stopped working out. I need to get my shit together. How about you, Mike?
It's hard.
So my quarantine shows have definitely been all over the place. I've been watching way more TV than I ever do. Obviously, Housewives of Anything at all times. But if we're gonna go and talk about, you know, queer television, definitely caught up on Schitt's Creek, obsessed. I hate that I'm an Alexis, but I 100% am an Alexis. Also, I just finished Hollywood on Netflix, which is the latest Ryan Murphy. If you guys have not watched this, obsessed.
So
obsessed.
No,
It's
I watched it all in like a
it's
day.
Juicy. Same. I thought
my
I like
college
the
classmate Jeremy Pope is in that, and
I'm in love with him.
just looks
I'm
amazing.
literally
He's
in
your.
love
Oh my gosh. I love
Wait,
him.
who is
Yeah,
he in it?
He's the only black guy that's in the.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's like
He's
so
great in
good.
it.
And he's so
he's
captivating.
so good.
He's so talented.
So
I mean, he was nominated for 2 Tonys last Tony Award season at the same time for 2 different shows. Who does that?
Oh wow.
No one. A black man. Only a black
Wow.
man.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't watched it, I mean, sex scandal, just so good. Also, The Politician on Netflix season 2 just dropped yesterday.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's, you know, a gay lead, and we get Bette Midler in it. So you know, we kind of
Bette Midler's in this season.
icons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
Bette Midler and Judith
Bae.
Light. So we're getting like the old school gay icons. I'm into it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love
Yeah.
it.
And Danube, what have you been watching?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, The Walking Dead. I love Hollywood. I'm in love with Jeremy Pope. I actually bumped into him at Gelson's the other day, but I was wearing my mask. So he's like, who's this weird girl staring at me? And I was smiling from like ear to ear, seriously. I think he's so talented and he's beautiful.
Did you say anything to him?
Did I? Yes, I did. Oh my gosh.
I'm like, spill the tea.
I'm glad I was wearing the mask. I was so shocked by my reaction, but I saw him and I was like, I love you. You're beautiful. And he's like, thank you. And I didn't realize, but the lead, another lead of the show, is his name in real life David Cornswith? I'm not sure. But he plays Jack Costello on that show. Like, right next to him, and I completely ignored him. I didn't, because that's how much I'm in love with Jeremy Pope. Anyway. So yeah, The Walking Dead. I saw a Netflix show that Mindy Kaling created called Never Have I Ever. Obviously, brushing up on the L Word and the L Word Generation Q. Let's see. And I cannot believe that it took me this long to watch The Birdcage with Robin Williams. No.
Oh my God.
Never seen it.
I barely
watched
saw it this week for the first time.
But I haven't watched it.
I haven't seen that show. I haven't seen that movie in years.
Yeah.
That was my first quarantine movie I watched, actually. Like, I saw it and I was like, oh my God, Robin Williams throwback. All right, like let's see what's going on. And it is so funny.
Yeah.
Holds up. Totally cute.
Okay, so I need to watch that then, for sure.
Yeah. On my list, definitely.
And you know what? This actually reminds me of something because, like, Danube, your reaction I think is so funny because I think we actually rushed in this. We totally forgot to do more introductions with all of you, and I want each of you to introduce yourself. And
Hold on, wait before you do introduction. I'm sorry to cut you off. Before you do, I don't want to forget this. We were talking about our movies, so I finally watched Moonlight for the first time. I had not seen it since it came out because I didn't want to be triggered. So I took forever to watch the movie, right? So I finally watched it over quarantine. And when I tell you this movie was so beautiful, I've gotten a green thumb as well during the quarantine. This beautiful plant. I brought 2 of these. One is named Chiron and the other is named Kevin, named after the 2 leads in Moonlight. So that is how this quarantine has been affecting me. But Moonlight was so beautiful. But anyway, yeah, sorry, continue, but I love Moonlight.
I love that.
No problem, but I was just thinking how it's so funny that you were so starstruck when, like, we didn't get to do introductions, but you yourself, you're an actor, and you've been on TV quite a few times. So I just think this is a good time to have all of you introduce yourself and what you do before we keep going.
Yes.
I know we just got so excited to start this. So kick it off.
Cool. I think you said my name, not sure, but I'm just gonna introduce
Yeah,
myself.
yeah.
So, right, Jeremy Pope Train. Yes, I was totally starstruck by him because he's talented.
He's such a sweetheart too.
Yeah, no, exactly. You see, he seems sweet. But I'm an actress, writer, producer, and I've been doing that for about 5 years, and it's acting as my full-time job, and I'm now segueing into producing. And I started off as a writer, which, you know, life is funny, right? Started off as a writer, was working in development, randomly became an actor, and now I'm producing. So I'm very excited.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
I'm getting starstruck.
Nice.
Still. And Dean, I'll have you go next since you're actually in the middle of my screen.
I'm Dean. I'm an actor as well. I've done a few things, but I'm just really passionate about the craft. I'm really passionate about representation. And, you know, Sadé, we have talked so much about even doing something like this. For me as an actor, you know, all of us who are actors, we're very, even when we're not even that big, we're very like skeptical about what we do because we don't want anyone to dig this up and find out like anything, and especially when you're like a Black actor, like a Black guy, you don't get to be queer and Black and work, because once you're known as queer, people can't see you as anything else. They want you to be their good kiki buddy. They want you to be their good sis. You can't be a leading man in any type of way. So, you know, to be Black and queer in this industry is just like such an act of rebellion and such an act of strength, because you're already boxed in when you're a straight Black actor. But to be a gay or queer Black actor, I mean, it's just so much. So me, you know, doing this was not like a lot, but it was just one of those things where I was just like, you know what, fuck it. Like, I really don't care. Like, if you guys are going to box me in during this thing, like, come on, like, cut it out. All the kids y'all see on TV, all the girls that you see on stage, because everybody knows the tea, but I want to stand in my truth and be proud about that moving forward. So my goal is just to make media, make art that represents those young little gay boys that we grew up being, and them seeing themselves represented on TV, and not in just one way, right? Not just like the good, hey, what's going on, sis? That's fine too. Those girls exist, they're great, and we love them. But there's a lot of us who are, what's going on, sis? But also we're just like, some days it's not giving sis at all. Some days it's like, I just want to chill the fuck out with a beer and nobody leave me the fuck alone. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we just want to give full representation, full people and who they are. So that's just my goal. And yeah, that's just me.
No, definitely. It's just like how, you know, we're in the middle of the Black Lives Matter movement. You know, companies are being taken down because they're like, hey, you can't categorize Black people as only one type or one sort of thing. And then, you know, with Pride, it's like, hello, you're celebrating all types of queer people. It's not one that you just want to represent and have everybody fit into a box all the time. So love that. Yeah. Love that so much, Dean. Donovan, well, I just said your name, but introduce yourself. Anyway.
Well, I'm Donovan. I'm Donovan. Aside from being a full-time Tinashe stan, I am currently a student. I'm in my senior year at Grand Valley, just powering through my major in allied health science. With that, I plan to do pharmaceutical sales. You know, I've been in sales for about 3.5 years before Miss Rona came and wiped that out. So I actually kind of like found my niche because I went into college knowing that I wanted to do something in medical. I just didn't know what avenue. So I feel like my previous job really geared me towards pushing business and pushing sales. So I'm focused on that. It's just, you know, one day at a time, one step at a time. I've learned throughout this whole process that you don't have to rush anything, you know, like you can take things as they come. Things are going to happen. You're going to have obstacles that get in the way. You have to overcome that and regroup yourself and then keep pushing forward. And I really think that's definitely like motivated me, especially in the pandemic, to harder, push myself more, attain goals, like a mood board, like a dream board, where I see myself in the next 5 to 10 years, have that all mapped out. And now it's just time to start checking off the list. Yes. So really excited for the future.
Wait, so you actually have a 2020 like vision board? Did you like do one?
Well, it's in like the notes app. So I mean, it's not visual yet. I'm gonna head to Michael's and Joanne Fabrics and grab some stuff and piece it together.
That's
awesome.
That's further than Danube and I got.
Oh, wow.
You finished yours. Never mind.
I
love
never
it.
showed you. I feel so ashamed. Okay, I'm gonna show Serge.
We were trying to
So
visually mood board together for 2020, and if I show you mine, well, I mean, actually, I can't show you because I just turned it into a protest sign.
That is the most 2020
Love
sentence
that.
of this
Right.
call.
It's supposed to be 2020, and I was like, yeah. No, it's the one that I had for Black Trans Lives Matter. Yeah. So I think I make good
Absolutely.
2020 vision board. Way better.
You need to keep that.
Yeah.
Like,
get a frame.
I have
that will be a time capsule for you in 10 years.
That's true.
Oh,
Your
definitely.
vision board turned protest sign.
Yes, I captured
Okay.
it, though, for
The
sure.
stories I could tell.
Yeah, for sure. And now Mike, give us a breakdown of what you do and I guess your name, even though I said it again.
I'm Mike. I am a publicist. So I primarily work in entertainment. I do a lot of film, a lot of TV, a lot of talent. And then through, working in that space, some random things have just come my way over the years. I fell into doing part-time red carpet hosting, which is how Blair and I met. And it's now there's an opportunity for some acting stuff. So I don't know. I just say yes. Say yes to life.
That's
kids.
right.
Seriously.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
just see what happens.
When Jesus say yes, nobody can say no.
They ate that.
We love
Love it.
Michelle. We love Michelle.
Love it.
So I think it's very important now to kind of talk about what's kind of going on in the world a little bit, especially with the recent Supreme Court decision and everything going on with Black Lives Matter. So I just kind of want to know pretty much, how do you kind of feel about the current administration and how they're handling just LGBTQ issues right now? Danube, I want to kind of start with you to kind of get your opinion.
Long one, but I'll try to be brief about it. I don't know. I can't even fathom why it's taken so long to just get this close to equality to our heterosexual counterparts, right? Like the Supreme Court just ruled that it is no longer basically legal for there to be discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity. And that's such a huge win for the LGBTQIA community, right? But it brings up the question, why has it taken this long? Why is getting basic human rights taking this long, And it's really infuriating because I'm sure I'm not the only one here that has felt the damaging effects of being in the closet during one of our jobs, right? Or being afraid to disclose our sexual orientation in fear of being discriminated against or treated differently, right? Or being excluded from certain groups. So it's a really hard pill to swallow even now, because although it's a momentous occasion and I'm so happy for future generations or even people that are younger than us and older than us that have not come out and now feel this open space to just be themselves even at work, it's still infuriating that it's how far behind are we always going to be to our counterparts,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it feels like we have someone in office who makes sure, when minorities get one or two steps ahead, he's bring it back 5, his administration works so hard to break down everything that's taken so long to build that still needs to keep building upon. So, I mean, I'm with you when I say it's infuriating. How do the rest of you guys feel or, and feel about this when you first heard it?
I mean, I'm right there with you. I feel like, specifically when Obama was in office, right? He worked so hard to get so many great things accomplished for our community. And there were so many strides that were made to the point where, honestly, when this news came out about that we can't be discriminated against, I honestly thought that happened already. This is what I'm talking about with the constantly educating yourself. I'm didn't that happen when Obama was president? And it's oh my God, no. Everything he did, we didn't even get this far. And now we're finally here a week after the Trump administration is putting back our trans community even more. It's it's like all the hard work that happened over those 8 years of the Obama administration is just being undone constantly across various different communities. And like right now, it just happens to be ours this week, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a rotating target, it feels like, honestly.
Yeah, that's a good way to put
I agree. And I always feel like it's like a diversion. I know this sounds crazy, maybe it doesn't make sense, but like I feel like everything with Black Lives Matter was just so like it was everywhere in the media. I mean, Twitter, it was everywhere. And I just feel like he was trying to do something to kind of have a distraction, and it obviously didn't work with the Supreme Court. But I just feel like, how do you go left that quick when all this, you know, all this protesting for Black lives, and you randomly just do this to trans people? I'm just like, I think he's kind of trying to divert people, but it's not working, because now it's like all Black Lives Matter. So we're just going to make this into another cause and join it together to make awareness for everything, you know?
You know, I have such a different opinion on how we are supposed to moving forward. I believe that when you ask someone for something over and over and over again, and respectfully so, and you're just asking for basic needs, no longer should you ask for it. Now it's just time to take it. Mm-hmm. I have no interest. I have no interest in asking heterosexual people, white people, rich people, people who have all this amazing influence for their permission to exist or to live. Okay, what really needs to happen is, while we're on this search for equality, which in my opinion probably will never exist in my lifetime, probably not in my kids' lifetime or even their kids' lifetime, because of just how tough this system of white supremacy is, just not even nationally, it's just globally. You understand? And it's not just white people who play into the systems of white systemic powers. It's people of color who help keep the machine running. So my thing is, at this point, gay people, Black people, all of us, what we have to do is, yes, a lot of us need to work on the political side and like infiltrate, you know, Trojan horse, this whole thing. But the rest of us, bitch, this is our neighborhoods, girl. We don't care if you live here either. You don't want us living in yours? We're not going to ask you for permission. We're just going to build up our own neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. Black people, stop asking white people for permission to exist. They're never going to get it. A lot of them, the ones who are allies, who love us, will, and they will be our allies. But for the majority, girl, stop asking them for permission. Stop educating them on racism. How are you educating somebody on something that they create and perpetuate? Why are you asking me why you're hurting me? Girl, I don't know. You're asking me why you're hurting me. Woo, please cut it out. Please cut it out. So my whole thing is, I'm done with all of this. I'm not asking nobody for nothing. I'm not educating you on nothing. I don't care if you're educated on racism, niece. What I'm more concerned about is protecting Black people, protecting queer people, building up our own safe spaces. And if they would like to come in, they will be vetted if they would like to be in our spaces. And that's just it. I'm not searching for equality no more. They're not going to, when are we going to wake up? They're not going to give it to us. And unless we're ready to really literally, and I hate to be this aggressive, but burn, pillage, kill, and destroy, it's never going to happen, sis. It's not going to happen nicely. They didn't take it nicely. So they're definitely not going to give it back in the same fashion, okay?
Wow. First of all, I have to say something, because that right there, that was
powerful.
a whole word. That was a word. A word. And I don't see no lie either. I think you said it in the most honest way. Give it, like, take it or leave it, but there's no chaser for that. Like, you gave it to it straight. I mean, this is a gay show, but you know what I mean. Donovan. I had to have some comedy in there. Donovan, how about for you?
I just feel like, especially with like the protests, you really get to see like people's true colors and their, like, how people literally think, like, on a day-to-day basis. You have people that don't know about racism, as bad as that sounds, because it is everywhere. Like, it is in your face. It's not hidden. But you do have some people who don't know about it, and you really have to like sit down and just like educate them, you know? I mean, you can combat them as much as you want to, but I don't think that's going to solve anything. I think it takes like a person to sit down and have like a genuine conversation, to bounce ideas back and forth off of each other, just to get like some kind of different perspective and some kind of breakthrough. I actually had that happen. It was with my roommate, and like, we were cool. Like, we've been together for like 2 years in our apartment, and you know, I'm thinking like, yo, we're on like the same like thought path. And then like the protest came up, And he was like, yeah, I don't believe, you know, the looting and rioting should happen. I think, you know, the peaceful protest is all that needs. I'm like, peaceful protest, that's been a thing. That's how, you know, it turns into nonviolence, especially when you're on Twitter and you see like a different side than what CNN and Fox and like the media shows you. You actually see like the firsthand violence that people face, people of color, LGBTQIA plus, like all these different groups and ethnicities are being targeted by these cops, and we have footage of it. And that's something that is motivation for people to burn down what they created, because Black people built this country. And if we're not being treated fairly for the people we pay, and we feel like we need to take our power back, there should be no problem with that. And, you know, you just had to like sit him down and he's like, wow, I really never thought of it that way. It all makes sense now. Like, you know, you've been wrong for decades and years, like hundreds of years, and you're finally like taking back what's yours. I'm like, yes, it hasn't finally been that way, but I feel like this is like the tipping point, you know? I think like this is like a really pivotal moment in history that everything is gonna shift towards the better, unlike it has in the past. You know, you can protest and riot and things change, but only for a temporary point of time. Right now we have protests all over the world. And I really think that people are coming together and starting to see the real injustices, because racism isn't only prevalent in America, it's huge in other countries as well. So I think this is more than just like a USA movement, it's like a global movement for what I feel, because there's like a lot of injustice and people are really starting to see how messed up the system is, how it needs to be completely dismantled. There's no reform, like reform doesn't get you anywhere. Like you need a complete disbandment of the system, a new policy in effect. I really think that's gonna be able to change things. That way you're not targeting people or calling the police on any type of situation, you know?
Yeah. And you know, when you said the whole educating people, I think that's the kind of most patient, like I never really, I mean, obviously you have to educate your friends, but I think sometimes some people don't even realize what's really going on. Like our white friends don't even know what's going on until they're in those areas. And I'm just going to say something quick. My friend Amber came protesting with me, and this was the first weekend after George Floyd died. So when the protests were going on, it was like, you don't even know if you're going to get arrested. You don't know if you're going to get hurt. You know, people were nervous to even protest at this point. And we went out, and, you know, at this point, you know, the cops are pushing people for no reason. And that's when they started saying, like, white people to the front, white people to the front. And the cops, like, were literally backing up. Like, when the cops were, like, when the white people were moving forward, the cops were backing up. But if the white people moved, they would push everyone of color. And like, I didn't realize it was, like, I mean, obviously she knew there was racism, but she didn't know it was that crazy. She didn't know that she could stand up and walk towards the police, they'd back up. But if I were to do it, they would come after me. And that was like one of the awakenings for her, like, okay, like this is crazy. Like every day I'm doing something revolving around this. But I want to ask a question. Mike, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I just kind of want to know, what are some things that you've learned as a male of privilege during this time?
For the answer to this question, make sure to tune in to Over the BS's Over the Rainbow episode, part 2.